What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. Now, I know in the past here at the channel, I've never hid my affinity for James Gunn as one of my favorite directors making mainstream films today, let alone the fact that he's in the MCU. Really, hats off to Kevin Feige for hiring the guy who did Slither to bring in the second Marvel MCU team. But hey, that's a subject for a different video. Today, what I think I found is one of the biggest Easter eggs in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, foreshadowing what might be the villain for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and on a deeper level, tying together what's one of the biggest themes of family in the two already existing Guardians films. We're going to do our best to break down this what might be very bird brain theory, explain the genesis for this Easter egg, puns totally intended, and of course, try to explain how this fits into the allegory and the major critique from James Gunn himself. And man, if I'm right, it's an absolutely beautiful sentiment. We're going to break it all down, but first, if you could quickly grab the subscribe button. We're still giving away the last Infinity Saga box set this December. All you have to do to be entered to win, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, and if you want, stick around at the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So as the title indicates, this Easter egg is in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and what, if I remember correctly, is the transition from the second to the third act before really hits the fan. There are tons of Easter egg skulls in the pile of Ego's murdered children, and if you're wondering how I can say that with any absolute certainty, it's because James Gunn himself on April 23rd of this year tweeted out, "There are tons of Easter egg skulls in that pile of Ego's murdered children." Well, if the man himself is going to tell us where to look, challenge accepted. Not to get too analytical about it, but there's not that many frames. Actually, how many frames, you ask? Well, the scene is just over 9 seconds long, and at 30 frames a second, that's somewhere between 270 and 300 frames. Now, the wide shot is impossible to look at, even on Blu-ray. It's just too far away, and a lot of these skulls are blurred, even if you can make any of them out. But he does give us some close-ups, and those were the frames where I focused my attention. Now, there were a couple in here that I think that I found, but either the character that they matched up with maybe didn't really make any sense in the backstory, or I wasn't that sure from the anatomy. But there was one in particular that immediately caught my eye because it was so distinguished from the rest, and it was this very avian looking half bird, half human skull located up here in the top right of your frame. Now, we went ahead and ran that skull through our self-made and proprietary software that analyzes any skull in the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which is really just some Shutterstock footage, and what we found may serve as the perfect allegory for the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy narrative itself, none other than Bird Brain, who, you may ask, well, while we read through his backstory quickly, I'm going to point out a couple of details that tie into this Easter egg theory, and guys, it's a lot deeper than this character just serving as the perfect pun for looking for an Easter egg. Bird Brain, also known as Bird Boy, was created by the mad scientist himself, the Animator. Keep that in mind. He was created as one of gene-spliced animal-human hybrids. The crazed Animator was a scientist working for the paramilitary and an anti-mutant organization, the Right, supposedly on a project to halt and reverse mutation, but actually working to create a pool of animate slaves for mankind. Bird Boy, like many of the other animates, was intelligent and resented the torture and barbaric training of the Animator. Soon, Bird Boy escaped the Animator's laboratory island. He was captured and placed on display as a freak of nature in New York City, where he was inadvertently freed by the young mutant Cannonball. Cannonball's team, the New Mutants, later spotted Bird Boy on the television news and tried to capture him for their school, Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, in order to help him. The New Mutants fought their counterparts, the villainous Hellions, and took Bird Boy back to their school without telling their current headmaster, the mutant Magneto. Eventually, the mutants convinced Magneto to let Bird Boy go and stay with them, and eventually, they even fight back and take over the island. Now, as soon as I read that story, all I could think of was that scene in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 where Rocket's drunk and explains he didn't ask to be made. He didn't ask to be ripped apart and put together over and over and over again like some little monster. And that's when, for me, the Easter egg actually took shape. But before I start rambling about parallels and what draws the Guardians of the Galaxy together, let me be abundantly clear. If this skull is indeed Bird Brain or Bird Boy, it may serve firstly as a metaphor, the connection between the Animator and or the Animates for the High Evolutionary and Rocket as we delve into his creation, if that's where the third movie ends up going. But on a deeper level still, it becomes allegorical as a symbol for what James Gunn is saying about family in the first place. Think about the Guardians of the Galaxy themselves, all losing their family, all ripped from where they should have been or where they were, misfits put together, creating their own new family, bonds of love between each member in different ways. The love between, say, Groot and or his father and Rocket is a lot different than the love between Gamora and or Quill, and there's tons of representations and parallels in them. Gamora losing her parents at an early age is a lot like Star-Lord losing his mom at an early age. Star-Lord not knowing his origin of his father overlaps with Rocket until he finds out in the second film. Of course, they all share loss, with Drax and the loss of his family, Rocket even more so after he loses Groot in the first film. And then you think about how relationships change, right? Nebula and Gamora are not sisters, but they become that. Gamora and Thanos, not truly father-daughter, but they become that. Same with Groot and Rocket. Rocket not really Groot's dad, but he acts in that way during the second film, which again, in case you're not paying attention or catching on, James Gunn makes sure to drive it home with Yondu's reminder he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy, and a perfect parallel between how Star-Lord and Yondu end up. The changing of how families are made even though they're not related, and there becomes the critique, just like Birdbrain eventually taking over the island and being made whole even though he's parts of pieces. And it's such a beautiful sentiment James Gunn is charging us with, that no matter where you came from or who you are, you can connect and love people, and it's in that love and that new family that you can become whole again, that misfits can turn into perfect fits. Guys, I have no idea how close to the mark I am, and it would be hilarious if I came up with all that and that's not who this skull is. But real quickly, before I let you go, the anatomy matches up too. Remember, he didn't have to put the stippling on the skull or even put a little marker right here, but it matches up perfectly with the plumage on Birdbrain or Birdboy, even the red feather in the middle indicated by that diamond. Again, I may be wrong, but this is where my theory lies. Guys, let me know all your thoughts about this. If you'd given any thought to the skulls in there, I'm sure a lot of people, you have looked for them. I know one of them may be a vampire. I've heard before. I've seen some other things pointed out, but guys, if you didn't know, there's still a ton in there. This is only one of many, and there are a lot of frames of some close-ups. Do your best to dive in there. I'm all ears. This video will be up forever, so go down in the comments if you find one. I would love to hear what you guys have to say and whether you found one or not that I didn't see. But either way, let me know all your thoughts down below, and quickly let's get into the giveaway stuff and other admin here at the channel. Guys, we just dinged 700,000 subscribers. I did this video right as we were about to hit it, so by the time I post this tomorrow, we will be there. That means the next video after this will contain the announcements for the winners of that giveaway for the PlayStations. We're still giving away this insane Infinity Saga box set in December, as well as that Beta Ray Bill statue. Those are both still being given away here at the channel. We're going to switch over to the PlayStation 5 soon, blah blah blah. Y'all know the same rules, they will always apply. Hit the subscribe button, then hit the notification bell, leave a like and a comment on this video, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. If you want to connect with me in other places, I stream most nights at twitch.tv/Novellin. We play World of Warcraft and a ton of other games on there, or if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at IamFires. Guys, thanks so much for checking out the channel and staying tuned in. Stick around, we'll be posting again real soon.